All right, friends, so to begin, you'll want to have your blocks or books on either side of the mat, near the top of the mat, and then please join me in a cross-legged seat, Sukhasana, with the right shin in front of the left. And if it's helpful to sit up onto a block or a blanket to elevate the hips, feel free to do so. Take a moment, bring your fingers by your sides, and then notice how when you press down into the ground, you can lift up and grow taller. And you might just rock side to side a little bit, finding a spot where you're even on your sit bones and right on top of them, so you're not leaning forward or slouching back. And once you find a nice spine, that tall spine, rest your hands on your thighs with your palms down. Let the shoulders drop back and down a bit. Lower the chin to the chest slightly. And then let the eyes close or soften, whatever feels best. Start by inviting a slow but deep breath in through the nose. Let it out of the mouth with an exhale or a sigh. And then start to find a steady rhythmic breath here in and out of the nose. Maybe finding a few rounds of belly breath, diaphragmatic breathing, where with every inhalation you feel the belly expand and inflate like a balloon. And with every exhalation, the belly draws back in towards center. So there's a sense of opening as you inhale, the belly expands. Of settling, is grounding as you exhale, as you draw the belly back in. And just take a few more rounds of breath like that. As much as you can, start to bring the attention downward into the belly. Feeling the connection of your hips, your legs, your feet on the ground. And then bring your palms together in front of your heart. And if you'd like to set an intention for today's class, perhaps an intention of grounding, then feel free to do so now. Take one more deep breath in. As you exhale, release. Let the eyes flutter open. Bring the right fingertips down to the ground. Reach your left arm to the sky. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, take a side bend over to the right. Have a soft bend in the right elbow. Press down through the left sitting bone and hip, and then reach up and over to your right. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, bring the left hand to the right near thigh. Bring the right hand to the ground behind you. And now as you inhale, sit up taller. Reach the crown of the head up. As you exhale, rotate. Spin the left ribs forward, the right ribs back. Again, inhale, can you sit up a little taller? Exhale, twist a little more. Roll the shoulders back. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, come through center. Bring your hands behind you. Bend your knees, plant your feet on the ground, and cross the right ankle past the left knee, finding a figure 4 shape. So get the bony part of the ankle past your knee. Draw those right toes straight back towards the knee and press the knee and thigh forward. And now bring your awareness down into the low back and notice if it's rounding a bit. And can you try to rock the pelvis forward? So take the pelvis, tip it forward by pressing your sacrum, the base of the spine, forward, and then see if that helps you to find more length in the spine. So starting to wake up the hips, really getting into the lower part of the body today. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Massage out the fronts of the thighs a little bit to create some circulation, bringing our energy, our prana, this vital life force that runs through us downward. And now come back to Sukhasana with the left shin in front of the right this time. Interlace your fingers, bring the forearms, the elbows together, drop the elbows slightly, and now start to roll out your wrist, lubricating the joints in the wrist a little bit. And if your tendency is to go super fast, then maybe slow down the movements a little bit. If your tendency is to move slowly, maybe you go just a little bit faster to build a little more warmth in the body. And then pause. Now switch the interlace and then go the opposite direction. And for me, it always feels a little more awkward going the other way. So maybe on this side, you do slow it down a little bit and try to make the movements more fluid. One more breath in, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Exhale, release the interlace. Bring the left fingertips to the ground. Reach the right arm up. Take a breath in. Exhale, side bend over to your left. Have a little bend in the left elbow. Reach the right arm up and over. Root down through the right sitting bone. One more breath in. Exhale, twist. Right hand comes to the left knee. Bring the left hand to the ground behind you. As you inhale, sit up taller. Exhale, twist to the left. Spin the left ribs back, the right ribs forward. Every inhale, lift up and out of the legs. Every exhale, rotate a little bit more. You decide where the gaze is. Do what feels best for the neck. One more breath in. And then exhale, release, come through center. Bring the hands behind you. Bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor. Cross the left ankle past the right knee, finding that figure 4. Draw the left toe straight back towards the knee. Press the knee and thigh forward, and then one more time, bring the attention to the low back. Notice if it's rounding, if you're kind of slouching back, and can you think about arching the low back a little bit? Rock the pelvis forward so you get on top of your sit bones so your spine is long. Keep flexing the toes. One more breath in. And exhale, release. You can release your figure 4. And now let's come onto hands and knees in a tabletop. Stack your shoulders right over the wrist. Stack your hips over your knees. As you inhale, pull your heart forward and up. Curl your tailbone up towards the ceiling. And now exhale, round the spine, lengthen the tailbone down towards the backs of the knees. Feel the shoulders spread across the back. Again, inhale, arch, open the front body. Pull the heart forward and up. Exhale, reverse, open the back body. And let's do 1 or 2 more cat-cows. Just starting to wake up the spine a little bit. Wake up the hips, the low back, the pelvis. And then make your way back towards center and extend the right leg back. Plug into the ground with the big toe mound. Begin to rock forward and backwards a little bit. And if there's any tightness in the back of the leg, I know for me there is, you might feel a stretch in the right hamstrings or the calf muscle. Maybe pause as you push the right heel back, really opening the back of the leg. And then inhale, rock forward, shoulders over the wrist. Press down into the ground and straighten the arms. Lift up and out of your chest. And now leading from the inner thigh, hover the right leg off the mat. So all those right toes face down. The leg is in a neutral position. I could place a teacup or a cup of coffee on the low back. Lift the low belly up and in. And now either stay here or play with reaching that left arm forward, palm facing in. And can you find one spot on the ground to look at, and then try not to move the eyes. The more the eyes dart around, the more the body moves. And to bring that sense of grounding into the body, can you keep the eyes steady? One more breath. Exhale, release, left hand down, right knee down. Turn your fingers out left and right, rock side to side a little bit, getting into the wrist a little bit more. And then come through center, turn the fingers forward, reach the left leg back, plug into the ground with the big toe mound, the ball of the foot, and then rock forward and backwards. So starting with some movement. And maybe you pause as you push the left heel back, opening the back of the leg, really getting into the hamstrings, the calf. One more breath. Rock forward, shoulders over the wrist. Hover the left leg off the mat, dial all the toes to the ground, spin the left outer hip down. And now rather than sinking towards the ground, push the earth away from you. Lift the pubic bone up and in towards the navel, and then your choice, maybe you stay here. Maybe reach the right arm forward. Keep the gaze steady. And oftentimes when we're not feeling grounded, when we're feeling unfocused or foggy-headed or scatterbrained, it helps to simply find a drishti spot, one thing to gaze at. But it's not just what you're looking at, but how you look at that thing. And can you look at something with soft eyes rather than hard or judgmental? One more breath. Right hand down, left knee down. Come back to your tabletop. Walk the hands forward about 2 to 3 inches. Look at your hands. Make sure they're really shoulder width apart. Wrist creases parallel to the top edge of your mat. Tuck your toes under. Push the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Now, if you'd like to pedal out the feet, bend one knee or the other, take a moment to do so. Starting with a little bit of movement in down dog. But then let's just be steady. Look back at your feet. Make sure they're hip width apart with your inner heels extended straight back. And if you feel the low back rounding, bend the knees so that you can get longer from the fingers to the shoulders to the hips so that your spine is straight, not rounded. Let the head and neck hang freely. The head just hangs between the upper arms. Press down through your thumb and index finger, that inner part of your hand. And then spin the inner arms, the inner shoulders forward and wrap the outer upper arms back and in. Find a gazing spot. Keep the eyes soft and steady. And now step your feet a little closer in. Raise the right leg up. Bend your knee, open up the hip, and let's take one big hip circle in one direction. And then let's do that the other way. Take a big circle the other direction. And now straighten the legs, square off the hips. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bring the right knee in towards the chest and lightly step the foot forward. Get your toes in line with the fingers. Drop the back knee. Bring your hands onto your blocks or your books here. Take a breath in. Let the hips drop, the heart lift. And as you exhale, straighten the right leg any amount. Doesn't have to be all the way straight. Inhale, bend the right knee. Exhale, straighten. One more time, inhale. And then exhale, straighten the right leg. And now pause. If you'd like to come onto your heel and draw those right toes straight back towards your face, do so. Find a little more length in your spine so you're not rounding, but reach the heart forward, slide the shoulders back. Keep wrapping that right hip back and in towards the left heel. Take one more breath. Now from here, slide the right foot back a bit, re-bend the knee. Keep the left hand down, reach the right arm to the sky, twist to the right. You could stay here with the back knee down, or if you'd like, tuck the back toes, raise the back knee off the mat. Keep bending your front leg deeply. Reach the chest forward, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Find a little more space in the upper body by spinning the right ribs back, left ribs forward. Take one more breath. Place your top hand down on the other block. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, straighten the right leg any amount. So you can do this with the back knee down again as we just did, or keep it up. Let's pulse through that. Inhale, bend the front knee. Exhale, straighten the leg. Notice I'm keeping my back heel up in this variation. Inhale, bend. So it's a nice long pyramid pose. Exhale, straighten the right leg and now stay. And if this stance is longer than you're used to, then I encourage you to try to stick with it. And it can feel a little less stable when we take longer stances with the legs, but that's how we create more space in the body. And it's your job to root down through the feet when you're feeling a little unstable. Press into the big toe mounds. Lift the thigh bones up, engage the quadriceps. And then go ahead, rebend the front knee, take an inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Now bring your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Turn your toes out, heels in. And bend the knees, coming to a yogi squat. Drop the sitting bones, hands to heart center. So your squat can be much higher than mine. It could also be lower or be sitting on a block or two. But you want your entire foot on the ground. Root down through the heels. Make sure you're not just on your tippy toes. Can you ground through the feet? Press into all four corners. Drop the sitting bones. Slight lift in the low belly. Lift the chest. One more breath. Plant your hands, exhale, fold, parallel your feet, take a little bend in the knees, let the head drop towards the earth. And now keep a bend in your knees and slowly roll up. Knees stay bent the entire time until your chin, the very last thing, lifts. Reach your arms to the sky, take a full breath in at the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel free to keep your feet about hip width apart or step them together with a little space between the heels. Press into the big toe mounds, pull up with the inner arches. Root down through all four corners of your feet as you reach the crown of the head up. And then rest the arms by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips, maybe a soft bend in the knees. Inhale, chest forward, hands to shins or fingers in line with toes. And now plant your hands on the ground, step your left leg back, right leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rock forward, plank pose, catch your hip shoulder height. Drop to your knees, point your toes, child's pose. Let the hips melt back towards the heels any amount. Rest the arms in whatever way is comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in. Stay as you exhale, feel the hips melt back towards the heels. And then inhale, press up onto hands and knees, tabletop, and slowly lower all the way to the belly. Once you land, point your toes, press down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the shoulders off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Make your hands as light as possible here. Inhale, lift up, use your upper back strength. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the shoulders, and now stay. Press down through the tops of your feet and lift the kneecaps to engage the front of the leg, the quadricep. Make your hands as light as possible. One more breath. Exhale, lower down. Press up onto hands and knees, tabletop, and back to your downward facing dog, hips up and back. And then step your feet closer in and raise the left leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Take that really big hip circle in one direction. Try to keep the arms straight. And then switch, big hip circle the other direction. And then straighten the left leg, square off your hips, take an inhale. Exhale, bring your knee into your chest and step the foot forward, toes in line with fingers. Drop the back knee, grab your blocks. Take an inhale, let the hips come forward, the chest lift. Exhale, straighten the front leg any amount. Inhale, bend, so just pulsing with the breath. Exhale, straighten, starting to build a little warmth in the body. One more time, inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten the front leg, and now stay. If you'd like to slide the left foot forward, come onto your heel, do so. Draw your toes back towards your face to start to really open the back of the left leg. Think about moving the left hip back to bring the right outer hip forward. And then can you lengthen the spine, send the heart forward, get longer from the crown of the head to the hips. And now go ahead, slide the foot back a bit, rebend the knee. Right hand stays down, peel the left arm up, twist. You could stay right here, back knee down, or tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. If you lift the back knee, really straighten the back leg, push the thigh bone up. Get longer from the crown of your head to your hips as you inhale. Twist a little more as you exhale, left ribs back, right ribs forward. One more breath in. Bring your top hand down, take an inhale, and then exhale again, straighten the left leg any amount, and you could do this with the back knee down or up. On the breath, inhale, bend the front knee. Exhale, straighten. One more time, inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten the front leg any amount, and now stay. So try to keep the back heel up, that nice long stance. Notice if the left hip is hiking up towards the left shoulder, squeeze it back and in towards the right heel, so two sides of the waist are equally long. Ripple the heart forward, get longer from the crown of the head to the hips. One more breath. Now rebend the front knee and step your right foot forward. Bring your feet a little wider than hip width apart. Turn the toes out, heels in. Let's find one more deep squat, going as low as it makes sense for you. Doesn't have to be as low as mine. Maybe you're sitting on a block or two. Bring your hands to heart center. Drop your sitting bones. Lengthen the spine, lift the chest. Root down through your heels in this pose, as if your feet could sink into the earth. Take another breath in. Plant your hands, exhale, fold. Parallel your feet, walk them a little closer in. Bend your knees a little or a lot, and then keep at least a little bend in the knees the whole time that you roll up. And take your time, notice if you're rushing. Slow it down. At the top, raise the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Maybe step the feet together, rest the arms down by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips, maybe a soft bend in the knees. Inhale, chest forward, hands to shins or fingers in line with toes. Plant your hands on the mat, step the right leg back, left leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rock forward, plank pose. Drop to your knees, point your toes, child's pose. Hips to heels, any amount, never forcing. Relax the forehead down. Take a deep breath in. Soften as you exhale. Inhale, rock forward. Come onto hands and knees. And slowly lower all the way to the belly. Once you land, point your toes. Press down through the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the shoulders. Remember to make your hands as light as possible. Exhale, lower down. On the breath, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift up. This time, hold. Make your hands as light as possible. Squeeze the elbows in towards each other to roll the shoulders back. And drop the gaze slightly so the back of the neck is long. Last breath in. Exhale, release. Press up onto hands and knees, tabletop. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. Take a deep breath in. Gentle clearing breath out of the mouth. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. And exhale, walk your feet to your hands. At the top of the mat, reach your chest forward, slide the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold, relax the head and neck. Come all the way to stand, reach your arms towards the sky. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Go ahead, rest your arms down by your sides. Take a moment to pause in Tadasana, mountain pose. So feet hip width apart or together with a little space between the heels. Notice if you tend to fall to the inner edges of your feet or the outer edges, and then can you press into the big toe mounds, the balls of the feet, and then lift the inner arches. Imagine you were standing in mud or that wet sand at the beach. And can you root your feet down? Feel the legs sink down. And from that rootedness in the lower body, reach the crown of the head up. And now inhale, reach the arms to the sky. We'll take a few very slow sun salutations. Exhale, fold, soft bend in the knees. Take your time, move with the breath. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Plant your hands, step the left leg back. Right leg back to a plank pose. Always option to drop to your knees, but let's be steady in plank. Push the ground away from you so your arms are straight. Reach the heart forward and then lift the pubic bone up and in towards the navel so there's no trace of a back bend in the lower body. Keep the gaze steady. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Slow it down. Take your time. It's harder to go slower. Point your toes, press down through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift the head, the chest, the shoulders. Make sure your elbows are over your wrist. Option to stay here, baby cobra, or come to upward facing dog. Lift your thighs in up dog, roll the shoulders back. Take a deep breath in, gaze straight forward. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. And come back to your foundation. So whatever's on the ground is your foundation of every pose. In this case, it's your hands and feet. Are your feet hip width apart, inner heels hidden behind you? Are your hands shoulder width apart? Do you feel the low back rounding? If so, bend the knees. When we build from the ground up, the rest of the body can feel more stable, more steady. Let the head hang freely. Come back to that steady breath. And then inhale, bend the knees, look forward. End of your exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Reach the chest forward at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach the arms up. Exhale, arms by your sides. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold, hinging at the hips. Take your time. Inhale, chest forward. Plant your hands beside your feet. Step the right leg back. Left leg back, plank. Knees can be up or drop to the knees. Take what the body needs, not just what you do out of habit. Push the ground away from you. Press into every knuckle, every fingertip. Lift the frontal hip bones up towards the front ribs and lengthen the tailbone down. Feel that lift in the low belly. Heart forward. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly lower, pinning the elbows in. Point the toes. Make sure elbows are stacked over wrist. Inhale, baby cobra or up dog. Take what the body needs today. Listen to the body. And exhale, downward facing dog. And that's the really nice thing about slowing down a little bit in a practice, is that you actually have time to listen. And the body is constantly giving us signals of what it needs. But most days we move so fast, we're doing so many things at a time that we don't hear those signals. So getting on your mat is a chance to slow down, to practice one thing at a time, and to pay attention. Take one more deep breath in, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Reach the chest forward at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, raise the arms. Exhale, arms by the sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chest forward. Plant your hands on your blocks, frame your feet, and step your left leg back. Come to a runner's lunge with the front thigh parallel to the mat, the knee over the ankle. You might take a peek underneath you. Make sure the left heel is over the ball of the foot. Squeeze your right hip back and in towards the left heel. That'll make two sides of the waist equally long. Push your left thigh up. Now, you could stay right here, hands on blocks, or with your next inhale, bring your hands to your hips, lift the torso. If you lift the torso, coming to a high lunge, bend the back knee. And then wherever you are, keep working towards making that front thigh truly parallel to the mat, like you could rest a coffee cup on that front thigh. Root down through the front heel, that right heel, lift the pubic bone up and in towards the navel. It's like you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. And now for the next few breaths, can you straighten the back leg? Push the left heel back. Push the left thigh bone back. Keep lengthening the tailbone down. Keep bending the front leg a little more. Sink your feet into that mud, that wet sand. Legs root down. Reach the crown of the head up. Steady the gaze. Soften the eyes. Push the left heel back. Last breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to the blocks and step your left foot forward. Reach the chest forward at the top. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, release arms by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, chest forward. Plant your hands, hands on block, step the right leg back. So take a nice long runner's lunge. Work towards making the front thigh parallel to the mat with the knee over the ankle. Right heel over the ball of the foot. Squeeze that left hip back and in towards the right heel. Push the right thigh bone up. And now maybe you stay right here, staying lower to the ground if that's what you need. Maybe bring hands to hips, come up to a high lunge. If you come up to that high lunge, actually bend the back knee to start. And then everyone work towards making that left thigh parallel to the mat, like you could balance a delicate teacup on it. Root down through the front heel. Lift the frontal hip bones up towards the front ribs. Lengthen your tailbone down towards the right heel. And then for the next few breaths, start to push the right heel and thigh bone back. And notice, is your foundation wide enough? If you're feeling wobbly, maybe walk the left foot to the left. So the foundation, whatever's on the ground, is everything. When we don't have a strong foundation, nothing else is going to feel as stable. Keep pushing the right thigh bone back. Keep bending the front knee. Relax the muscles in your face. Steady the breath. You've got this. You're stronger than your mind tells you you are most of the time, so breathe steadily. One more inhale. Exhale, hands down, step the right foot forward. Reach the chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach the arms up. And exhale, arms by the sides. All right, now from here, grab one of your blocks or a book, place it in between your inner thighs, and then bring your feet a little closer, hip width apart or closer if you can. Bring your hands to your hips, take a breath in, and as you exhale, bend the knees. Coming into about a half chair, hands stay at hips, but in this chair, can you go lower than you normally do? Maybe even get your hips as low as your knees. I know that's crazy. Press your shins back at the weight in the heels and the hips. Maybe try to lift the toes off the ground. And then notice if you're rounding forward, send your sternum, the center of your chest, forward and up. Keep sinking down into your feet, then lower the toes. Imagine you were standing in wet sand at the beach, just looking towards the horizon. Sit a little lower. Squeeze the block with the inner thighs. One more breath in. And then exhale, stand all the way up. Okay, now we're building some warmth in the body. Move the block to the side. Bring your hands to your hips and step open wide to face the long edge of the mat. Take a nice wide stance. Feet about underneath the wrist. Hands to hips. From deep within the right hip socket, turn the right toes forward. Spin the left heel back. Right heel bisects the back arch. And then take a moment to engage your left outer hip. Firm it in towards the midline so your pelvis is upright, not dipping to the right. Reach the arms out wide. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee, and now pause. Work towards making your front thigh parallel to the mat with the knee over the ankle in line with the second toe. Keep engaging the left outer hip, firm it in towards the midline. Root down through your front heel to lift the front hip off the thigh. Anchor through your back foot a little more. Try pressing into the pinky side of your back foot. Really try to straighten the back knee. Lift the low belly up and in. And now soften your eyes over the right fingers. Steady the breath. Couple more breaths. And Warrior 2 is a big hip opener. Really gets into the inner thighs. Strengthens the outer hips. And it's a strong and demanding posture, especially when you hold it. But can you feel that sense of grounding through your feet, sinking into your legs, and then soften the shoulders? Can you steady the breath? Can you keep the breath steady even in a challenging position? Bend the front leg a little more. Last breath in. Straighten the front leg as you exhale, hands to hips. Parallel your feet. And the good news is we only have 2 legs, so turn the left toes forward. Pivot the right heel back. Left heel bisects the back arch. Firm your right hip in to engage the right outer hip. Inhale, spread the arms out wide. Exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, straighten, move with the breath. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee, and now pause. Maybe take a longer stance. Maybe walk the left foot forward until that left thigh is parallel to the mat. Left knee over the ankle. So let yourself take that nice long stance. It feels less stable, but can you find stability in it? Can you ground through the left heel? Keep lifting the front hip off the thigh. What about your back foot? Press into your outer back heel and straighten the back knee. And then from that sense of sinking through the feet and the legs, lift the low belly. Spread the arms out wide. And now soften the eyes over the left fingers. Steady the breath out. Stay a little bit longer than your mind tells you can. So rather than avoiding the challenging situation in yoga, we try to go through it. We try to go through it with ease, not by pushing ourselves or judging ourselves. Last breath in. Straighten the left leg, hands to hips, parallel your feet. Toes in a bit, heels out. Take a breath in. And then exhale, fold forward. You can bring your hands down to the ground or blocks. You might grab one of those blocks and just rest your head on it or your forehead. And rest your arms in whatever way is comfortable. You might even flip so the palms face up. Give the hands a rest, the shoulders a rest. Imagine your feet sinking through the mat and into the ground. All the different layers of the earth. Take a deep breath in. Gentle breath out. Bring your hands to your hips and then very slowly, leading with the chest, come all the way to stand. And now walk your feet closer in. You can move your block to the side if you are using it. And find your mountain pose. Keep your hands at your hips. Bring all your attention down into the left leg and foot, and then come to the right tippy toes. Turn the right knee out to the right. Bring your heel to your ankle, pause. Engage the left outer hip like we did in Warrior 2 by firming it in. And you could stay here for tree pose or bring the foot a little higher below the knee, or grab it, bring it to the upper knee. Feel free to also do this at a wall with your left hand at the wall. Drop all your attention down into the left foot and the leg. Notice if you're falling to the outer edge or the inner edge. Try to press into the big toe mound. Lift the inner arch. Find one spot to gaze at. Notice if your eyes are darting around. Especially if you do, a lot of computer work where we're constantly looking at different images, looking at our computer, our phone, the TV, so many things at once. Can you let the eyes focus on one thing? Give the eyes a rest. Drop the attention downward into the left leg. And just keep your hands at your hips today. Focusing on grounding down, not focusing as much on the arms. Feel that lift in the low belly. Keep firming the left outer hip in. Try to relax the toes. Soften into the moment. One more breath in. And then exhale, place the right foot down. And now step your left foot back about a foot. Flip so you're in the top of the foot, point your toes, and then roll out your ankle in one direction. So I'm rolling over the top and the bottom of the foot, lubricating the joints, and then pause and switch the other direction. You're still pressing down and then lifting up. And now step your left foot forward. Keep your hands at your hips. And then from here, come to the left tippy toes. Turn the knee out. Feel free to go to a wall, right hand at a wall. Bring the left heel to your right ankle, pause. Engage the right outer hip, firm it in so it's not swinging out to the side. You could stay right heel here, keeping your feet on the ground. Maybe that's what you need today. Or if you'd like to bring the foot higher, go ahead and do so for tree pose, Vrikshasana. Now notice if your mind is in a million places. Maybe you're thinking about what you have to do after class, or something that happened before, something that's lingering. And so that's fine, but just for now, can you let that go so you can bring your attention into the right foot? Press into the big toe mound, pull up with the inner arch. Notice what you tend to do. Do you fall to the outer edge of the foot or the inner foot? Do you tend to grip the mat with your toes or not use the toes enough? Press the thigh bone back without locking out the knee. Keep firming the right outer hip in. Feel that lift in the low belly. So dropping all the attention downward as if that right leg was standing in mud. And then can you soften the shoulders, soften the jaw? Notice what you're looking at, and can you soften the way that you're looking at it? Can you not judge this moment, whether you're still or wobbly? No one cares. Can you ease into the moment? And let's take one more deep breath in. Exhale, place the left foot down. Nice work. Step your right foot back. I know that was a long pose. Hold right foot back about a foot. Flip so you're on your toes, and then roll out the ankle. This is also a nice thing to do first thing in the morning when you wake up, if you ever wake up with your feet feeling a little tight. And then pause, switch directions. And then as you're ready, step the right foot forward, and let's just sit all the way down. So no fancy transition. And now come to Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together, knees wide. Bring your hands to your ankles or your shins. Let your feet open like the pages of a book. If it's helpful to sit up onto a block or blanket, do so. And then use your arms as leverage to try to get right on top of your sit bones. Notice if your low back is rounding. And can you press the base of your spine forward and in by pulling onto the ankles or shins? Trying to find a spot where the chest is over the hips. Soften the shoulders, and now feel free to stay upright or tilt forward, but don't round forward any amount. Keeping the spine nice and long, and then every inhale, lift up and out of your low back a little more. Every exhale, maybe you come forward a bit more. So imagine the breath like the waves at the ocean. Every inhale, the water moves back a little bit. And then every exhale, the waves come in towards the shore. Take about 3 more breaths. Feel the sit bones root down into the earth. Bring your awareness down into the hips, the pelvis, the seat of the body that's supporting you right now. And with your next breath in, come all the way back up. Use your hands to draw your legs together. Stretch your legs forward. Reach the arms forward. Curl your fingers in and just roll out the wrist and the ankles a little bit. Getting any of those little cracks and creaks out, getting any extra air out of the body. And then pause, take some circular motions the other way. And now come back to a comfortable seat, crossing one shin in front of the other. If it's helpful to sit up onto something, again, do so. But find a seat where your hips are higher than your knees. And then rest your hands on your thighs with your palms down. Roll the shoulders back a bit. And just take a moment to find a steady, a still seat. And then we'll take a few rounds of breath together. I'll teach Nadi Shodhana, which is an alternate nostril breath, but if you'd rather just breathe naturally in and out of the nose, then you'll do that or take some belly breaths. So to do Nadi Shodhana, this alternate nostril breath, you'll be using your right hand. You'll tuck the index and middle finger in. The thumb will very gently cover the right nostril. The ring finger will gently cover the left. So find a nice tall seat. Don't cover your nostrils yet, but just take a deep breath in through the nose. Gentle exhale or sigh out of the mouth. Then you might close the eyes or soften the gaze. Gently cover the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale deeply through the left nostril. At the top of the breath, cover the left nostril and exhale through the right. Bottom of the exhale, inhale deeply through the right. Once the lungs are full, cover the right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left, smooth and steady breath. Once the lungs are full, cover the left, exhale right. Inhale through the right. Once the lungs are full, cover right, exhale left. At the bottom of the exhale, inhale through the left. Cover left, exhale right. Take a few more rounds of this breath on your own, moving at whatever speed works for you, never forcing, never rushing. Nadi Shodhana is an alternate nostril breath that balances the two sides of the body. The left side representing the internal channel that's a little bit more lunar in grounding and cooling. The right side representing the internal channel that's the solar energizing channel. So doing this alternate nostril breath can bring balance to the two, can bring a little more harmony to the body. And now the next time that you exhale out of the left nostril will be your last round. Release your right hand on your thigh and just take a few natural breaths here. Noticing how you feel after your practice. Noticing any sensations that are present. Do you feel a little bit more grounded, a little more settled in this body, in this moment as it is? Perhaps coming back to that intention that you set at the beginning of class of trying to ground a bit more whenever you're feeling scattered, anxious, unclear, unfocused. Can you take a moment to pause? Maybe just pausing in a seat or in your mountain pose and come back to this intention to ground, that I am grounded. And bring the palms together in front of your heart. And if you'd like to take a few moments to lie down in Shavasana from here, you might just pause this video, lay down for a few moments. Thank you for practicing today. Namaste.